In my last video, we discussed about MBBS versus biotech degree, and within 24 hours, it crossed more than 25,000 views. And a lot of students have been emailing me, calling me now, asking, please compare not just the bright side of both. So here is a video discussing the dark side of MBBS degree and the dark side of the biotech degree. Now, I'm going to start with MBBS, obviously, and then I'll come to the biotech degree, but it is a complete unbiased video. I'll give you pointers. You're free to make a note and then decide in the comment section which one do you think is right. Now, we all can participate in the debate, so you can put your pointers also, which you think is right or wrong, and I will also comment below. Now, to start with MBBS, the degree of dreams for majority of middle class students. Students who want to earn money, jump from the middle class to the rich class, and want to contribute towards the modern healthcare of our society. It's a noble profession. But the dark side number one for MBBS is the working hours. Now, even before we get to the working hours, we have the first dark side at the entry itself, which is 26 lakh people will compete for 86,000 seats. So for every seat, more than 30 people are competing, so the best wins. And that is where majority of you think that it is a marks game. No, it is a seats game. If the number of seats are increased, this problem goes away. But since the number of seats are fixed, so that is why you fail. So for every student who succeeds, 29 people fail. And those 29 either try next year or go for some other sector, allied sector or biotech sector. We'll come to that later. Now, this competition can create a huge mental frustration and agony in the mind of young people, and they will start feeling that they are failure at the beginning of their career itself, which is not right. That is why I have always said, if you are not able to qualify MBBS, you can always go for other degrees also. So yeah, MBBS, this is the first dark side. The second dark side is the question paper is very tough, and that is what most students tell me. But do you know the hidden dark side? Why the question paper is tough? The dark side number two is because the degree is super tough. I've been through that degree. I know the syllabus. If you have any doubt, go and download the 4 or 5 years of syllabus of any of the MBBS degree of any university. You will realize that NEET exam is just 0.01% of the degree. How difficult it is. So if you are not able to qualify NEET exam, imagine how you will pass through that rigorous 5 years of training. It is very difficult. Nobody talks about it. Another dark side, which nobody tells you, I know it because I have been in touch with so many students. The dropout rates of students is very high in MBBS. It's like 40% of students drop out in their first or second year of their MBBS degree, not because of ragging, but because of the study pressure. They could not cope up. Okay? And it's not like a small break. They just leave it forever and they go for maybe higher studies abroad or in India. I know that. But that's the truth. This is the hidden dark side which nobody tells you. NEET exam is tough because the next 6 years is even more tougher. And that is why the dropout rates is at 40%. 40% of the people who qualify NEET also, they drop out, they don't go for any higher degree or they don't pursue their MBBS, they go for some allied clinical research or some other degree. Now coming to the next dark side, which is the length of the degree. It's not just 4 or 5 years, it is more than 6 years because you have to go for an internship in a village where you get a stipend of 10,000 rupees. Now if you have passed through all that, then comes the sugar, which is the salaries which you can get as a government doctor or a private doctor in a private hospital, or you do your private practice, but you're still called a junior doctor. To get the tag of a senior resident or a senior doctor, you need to write the NEET PG exam, where 5 lakh students just like you will compete for 14,000 seats only. And that leads to another problem. And that is, even though you qualified NEET UG, you are still a junior doctor, you have to write NEET PG, and there, if 5 lakh people are writing, only 14,000 is getting selected, rest are getting rejected, right? You have to try again. So it takes up to 3 years also for a person to qualify NEET PG. And once they have qualified, then they get the salary. And all of this takes 10 years, 10 or 11, sometimes 12 years also, right? After 12th year, your salary will be 1,20,000. Imagine the inflation. Today it sounds like 1,20,000. Wow. But 10 years from today, 1,20,000 will be equal to 30,000 of today, right? So what you are thinking that after NEET exam, after becoming a doctor, your life is set, that's not true. Only 0.1% of the doctors earn in their package above 1 crore. Okay? So that's something you should keep in mind. Now that I have talked about only the dark side of the MBBS, now I'll talk about the biotech. Okay? Biotech sector also has a dark side. I've made a separate video also, but still I will tell you here also. Now starting with the first one. The biotech sector requires super specialization. So obviously, less than a PhD, you cannot get a very high paying job. Okay? You can definitely get jobs which will be in the range of 40 to 60,000. But if you want a salary of 2 lakhs per month, then you need to have a PhD. Okay? And that is where PhD also takes 5 years, right? So that's the dark side. You need to have a PhD to get a high paying job. Now, the second dark side is you have a handful of companies in a handful of cities in India. So if you are someone who is from a smaller city, you have to come to these bigger cities to do a job. So it's like Infosys is in Bangalore. So you have to obviously leave your home and come here, right? They may not give you work from home. In biotech sector, you don't get work from home most of the times. So that is where you have to relocate to Bangalore or nearby areas like Chennai, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Uttarakhand. Then you have Delhi. These are the 5-6 pockets where all these companies are. There are more than 5,000 companies, but they all are huddled up together in these places. So the dark side is you can't get a job in your city of choice, which is there in MBBS. Now, coming to the next part. So in MBBS, I said, yes, there is a work-life pressure. If the patient needs you at 2 o'clock at night, you have to go. In biotech sector, the work-life balance is better, but not great, I would say. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? In the biotech sector, of course, when you are working, the shifts will be there, 9 hours, 10 hours, long shifts will be there. When you are on the floor, you cannot go anywhere. You have to be there physically present to make sure that the batches are running through and everything is working fine. So you can have formulation development, QN, QC, R&D, and various other types of biotech jobs you can get. But yeah, that is the dark side. That of course here also sometimes it can go up to 12 or 13 hours also if you are into R&D. Okay, so that's the dark side. Now, which in case of doctors also it is there, 18 hours a day also shift. I have seen so many times during COVID pandemic, people were not sleeping also. Both sides, this was a problem. Now coming to the next dark side of biotech sector is to get the PhD, you need to write CSIR NET exam. So what happens is here also 86,000 people will write the exam, but only 1,000 people or 987 people will get a JRF. Only those people can get PhD with the government funding. Otherwise, you cannot get, right? So that's the second problem. So dark side. Now, so remaining 85,000 people again have to write or go for a job, right? But yeah, in the biotech sector, you do have a plan B that you can get a job. But in the MBBS, you have to obviously write the NEET PG to get the high paying job. So now, when I'm comparing to the next aspect is, in MBBS, you don't have to leave the country to get a high-paying job like in crores. You can still get it in India. But in biotech sector, if you want like 25 crores package, then you have to go to New York City or Boston or US and UK and Europe, where you have these kind of jobs. And of course, the cost of living is also high there. So this is more or less the dark side and bright side of both. Dark side obviously I spoke about. Now the bright side of both is, of course, one should do MBBS only if you are passion for the healthcare or Medicare, right? One should go for biotech if you have passion for research or biotech sector. So how can you find that at this young age is you can always speak to a mentor. Or what I would suggest is, if you are preparing for NEET exam and you are hating it, then probably NEET exam is not for you. Okay. And if you are getting into the biotech sector, like you've already studied +2, in the +2 you've studied biotech, and if you liked it, then biotech sector is for you. So it's all about liking, okay? Because even though I know doctors who work 18 hours a day also, they will not complain because they love their work. They love helping patients. And the same with biotech sector. I know scientists who will work for 12 hours a day also, they will not complain because they love what they're doing, right? So the bottom line is, you should do what you love. Excellence will follow, and then perfection will follow, money will follow, right? So dark side is there in every profession. I compared it. Now I invite all of you to tell me which one you think has a brighter side and a darker side, and which one would you prefer? And what should be the outlook, and how do you think young minds should think? So if you are a parent, feel free to comment below. If you are a student, feel free to comment below. But yes, the debate will continue. I'm not here to tell you that this is my conclusion. The conclusion rests on all of you. So feel free to comment below, and I will also participate so that we can find a better solution for all our students. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.